give me a breaking news. Entrance fee, $20. And couples, yes, couples, you heard me right. Couples pay only $30. Couples, come on to Extempo Night. Come twin together, matching outfits and all you seen already, boy. And get chances to win prizes all throughout the night. It's the Extempo Sponsors Night and calling all couples. Stardom 10 this Wednesday, 21st January, the factory, 8:30 p.m. So you better be here. Stardom 10, headline sponsored by Big Edge Financial, also supported by The Factory, Adam Sounds and Lights, Central Cooperative, Credit Union, Kyrie FM, Q95 FM, Vibes Radio, MO News, the National Bank of Dominica, Mapao Entertainment Center, Arturo Sports, and Hardline.
That's why I say money.
The different phases in life, we move at a different pace. All we need is to be supported. Cause when the baby's coming, business needs revamping, the new job started, and you need an outfit. Let momentum hook you up. Momentum will hook you up. The wedding's planning, rent due dates coming. Momentum is your support financing. Let momentum hook you up. Momentum will hook you up.
Take advantage of NCCU's Momentum Loan and get the support you need for whatever stage you are in life. With a tiered interest rate and exclusive emergency fund component, let NCCU's Momentum hook you up. Call 255-2126. Email membercare@nccudominica.com or visit any NCCU location for more details. Your phase, your pace.
Easy way to pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Whoa!
Orange and lemon lime. Yeah. We love the behind. Refreshing every day. All night.
Distributed by Fine Foods Inc., the biggest distributor for the biggest brands.
Get more from Digicel with our new Prime Ultra bundles on the fastest mobile network in Dominica. More local minutes, speed data to chat with your friends and family. More data for messaging. More data on WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. More data for TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, and now Netflix. Get more and more. Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Netflix, Snapchat. To party, online. More data. What is even more amazing is a new new feature. When you buy and stay on the Prime Ultra bundle, you get amazing discounts. Experience your new Prime Ultra bundle and save. More for you, only with the best mobile network on island. Digicel, better connected.
No frills, just great prices at Courts. We don't just talk about it, we've got it. Get the best in quality and prices on appliances, electronics, furniture, and much more. Plus, enjoy a gift with purchase on select new arrivals and furniture in Ashley. Save even more with 20% off select matching pieces and combo deals. Shop today, pay later with Courts Ready Finance. Only at Courts. Bringing value home. Offer ends January 25th, 2026. Conditions apply.
Let me say good morning to Brother Nasio, still standing there in Dewash, fighting for the environment, protection of the environment there. Good morning to you.
There was a specific point. They didn't raise any other issue in the CBI program. The specific point the United States raised was that
All right, Dominica, we're here. I heard the Prime Minister yesterday on radio, of course, coming out of the sort of news conference for the first for the year. He seems optimistic that after the 180 days, visa restrictions will be lifted. Are you as optimistic? Let's listen to the Prime Minister.
there was a specific point. They didn't raise any other issue in the CBI program. The specific point the United States raised was that our Dominica's program doesn't have a residency component. It did not say it lacked transparency. It did not say it lacked due diligence. They said that we do not have a residency. So we're addressing this matter with the United States. And of course, in the conversation, other things will come up. It is left to the United States to tell me if there are other issues which they have. It is not for me to speculate in the public domain because I'm not aware of any other issue that we have in the United States or any issue for that matter. So in the conversation that we'll be having, if there are points that they raise with us, we are open to engage in the United States and working with them towards addressing whatever issues they may have with us so that the issue of the visa suspension can be set aside. And then we will have no real impediment towards applying for visas of any kind to go to the United States. Mark you, all of us who currently have visas, we can travel to the United States. There's no restriction on that. That continues to be in place. And so we'll continue to engage, and I am very confident that we will find a resolution on this matter with the United States and that they will set aside the suspension.
So, Prime Minister, you're presenting there that the only issue that the U.S. has Is it the residency requirement? Now, somebody just sent me a conversation as it relates to the very matter. And I think that matter has been discussed with the Prime Minister of Grenada, PM Dixon. And in that conversation, that Prime Minister spoke about discontinuing the issuance of passports to Russian nationals. So are you saying that they only spoke to you, Prime Minister, on just the residency requirement? Now the Prime Minister of Grenada is saying something completely different. Are you speaking the whole truth and nothing but the truth? When they're speaking to the Grenadian Prime Minister about the Russians and the issuance of passports to Russian nationals, are you saying now it's only residency? I don't know. Something. Are we being told the whole truth and nothing but the truth? They're only concerned about the residency requirements. So why are they telling the Grenadian Prime Minister that the issuance of passports to Russians may be the problem? Something doesn't seem right there. But let's go back. Telephone. The Prime Minister seemed optimistic that we will be, this visa will be dropped. This visa requirement there. The visa issuance to Dominicans will be dropped in due time, maybe after 180 days. Are you that optimistic? You satisfied that you're telling the nation the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Just thought I would drop that in as we speak about the optimism of the Prime Minister. Are you there, caller? Talk to me on 840.
I sure am, Matt. And that's a sticking point for me.
Mm-hmm.
That is a sticking point. Good morning to you and all the listeners, Matt, on Q95.
Yes.
That is where the sticking point lies, Matt. Roosevelt Skerritt is saying they're not talking to him about due diligence. I don't believe that for 1 minute. That is where the problem is. We have the due diligence, so they might not talk to him about the due diligence. But the point is that though that we have the due diligence, and he has made it appear that the due diligence process is locked tight. I've said it before. It's fail safe. Yeah? It is still happening that people are getting our passports who are failing or who are crooks and criminals. So how is it that we have the due diligence process, yet crooks and criminals are showing up with our passports? So, Matt, there seems to be somebody in authority who is allowing this. And that is the crux of the matter. I have said it over and over. Can we identify that person or persons who are authorizing the issuance of our citizenship to these criminals? That is it. That is the question. We need someone who can be honest enough to say, this guy authorized that passport to that criminal. It has to be like that. And if it's the head of immigration, if it's the head of security, if it's Skerritt himself, that is where we have to go. That is where we have to go, right there. Skerritt is avoiding it by saying they're not talking to him about it. But who authorized the issuance of our citizenship to crooks and criminals? That's where it has to be, man. Right there. We believe it right there.
All right. So again, I'm just asking, because the Grenadian Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister Dixon, has indicated, and if you want, I can share it with your member of staff, that the U.S. approached OECS governments about discontinuing the issuance of passports to Russian nationals. Did they tell you the same? 842, hello, talk to me, yes. And you're not saying what they've told you? Hello, talk to me, yes?
I say love life lightly, heal, enjoy, gratitude, courage, and sacrifice. Matt felt a blessing to your family, sir.
Blessings to you, sir.
Excuse me. Matt, where there is a consistent sequence of events, coincidence is absent. For in the laws of coincidence, there is no consistency. That is a consistent liar, a consistent deceiver, a consistent lunatic. Matt, you hear what he said? It is left to the United States to tell me that is the deceptive, hypocritical, treacherous lunatic we are dealing with. It is he, Matt, not the country, not the cabinet, not the government, not his ministers, Minister of Foreign Affairs. He finally opened his mouth. Did he open his mouth or he wrote a letter or something like that?
Well, a press release from the ministry.
Vince Papali, Gisparu, Pakapali. Keep your peace, my brother. Matt, that man is so dangerous. Can you remember one time due diligence was a requirement and they had to tighten up, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
I think they say now it's in the hands of some U.S. due diligence people and all of that. Matt, that man is dangerous. Skerrit is lying and he does not know his lies he's telling because he gets caught in a survival mood, Matt, where it's all about survival. And instead he stopped digging because when you're in a pit, Matt, the only logical thing to do, even if you're wanted, is to stop digging. But in his delusional mind, if he continues to dig, he will burst out somewhere and then be free. Dominicans, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. You have to be on your guard. Watch that lunatic, that madman, because Matt Skerrit will not relent. As I said, it's about the survival. And that's something I want you to take a note of. Matt, if we build in an international airport, why all the hotels are on the West Coast, Matt? Are there any hotels earmarked for Wesley and Marigot and those places, Matt?
Well, he did say in, of course, recent interviews that persons are asking and inquiring about, finding land to build hotels around the airport. He did say that some time ago. They're not being built now, but he said because of the airport, we might have a few hotels in that area.
But you not buy people buying land, not inquiring. That man is, as I said, I have to remember Lawrence Brumman, but Lawrence Brumman was a man that was giving stories. That man is lying and deceiving a whole country, and in his madness, he think he can fool the whole world, man. That is the issue. So all of you that have money, that watching protestation, demonstration, and the opposition trying to get rid of that madman, think all you are too well fortified, or you are impregnable, impenetrable, and invincible. His madness cannot rub off on all you. It is just a matter of time. You see how young people killing one another? Wavukuku. Take care.
All right. Good morning to you. 449-309596. Well, I guess there are some people out there who seem optimistic that after the 180 days, the issuance of visas will come back. So they give us a pass. They'll give us a pass after 180 days. Are you that optimistic? 449-3095-9697. Dominica. As I said, of course, I have the full interview. The Grenadian Prime Minister is saying that the Americans are concerned about the issuance of passports to Russians. The Prime Minister has not revealed that. And of course, the statement, the OECS countries. Are we not an OECS country? Are you there? Hello, talk to me. Yes, good morning. Hello? Somebody there? Nobody there. Actually, somebody just brought it to my attention this morning that the Prime Minister of Grenada, PM Dixon, indicated that the U.S. approached OECS governments about discontinuing the issuance of passports to Russian nationals. However, the Prime Minister has publicly stated that the only concern raised by the U.S. in relation to Dominica was the residency requirement. Are you keeping things away from us, Prime Minister? All right, Dominica, we're here. Let's listen again to the Prime Minister of Dominica at this time.
This raised was that there was a specific point. They didn't raise any other issue the CBI program. The specific point the United States raised was that our Dominica's program doesn't have a residency component. It did not say it lacked transparency. It did not say it lacked due diligence. They said that we do not have a residency. So we're addressing this matter with the United States. And of course, in the conversation, other things will come up. It is left to the United States to tell me if there are other issues which they have. It is not for me to speculate in the public domain because I'm not aware of any other issue that we have in the United States or any issue for that matter. So in the conversation that we'll be having, if there are points that they raise with us, we are open to engage in the United States and working with them towards addressing whatever issues they may have with us so that the issue of the visa suspension can be set aside. And then we will have no real impediment towards applying for visas of any kind to go to the United States. Mark you, all of us who currently have visas, we can travel to the United States. There's no restriction on that. That continues to be in place. And so we'll continue to engage, and I am very confident that we will find a resolution on this matter with the United States and that they will set aside the suspension.
Again, Deacon Mitchell Prime Minister is saying something opposite, completely opposite. Maybe you were not in the same room, but he's indicating again that the U.S. approached the OECS governments about discontinuing the issuance of passports to Russian nationals. They did not say the same thing to you? Are you not part of the OECS? Yeah, I'm just asking. I guess when you guys meet as leaders, you should speak the same language. Hello, good morning to you. Are you there, caller? 449-3095-96 and 97. Maybe I can share the interview with you or your team, Prime Minister, because Deacon Mitchell is saying something completely different. Are you there? Yes?
Matt, you are asking a rhetorical question. Are you hiding things from us, Mr. Prime Minister? And I know you do not need an answer to that. Matt, you remember at the press conference there late last year, Skerrit said that there are a lot of conversation he's keeping with leaders in the world, which he's not telling his cabinet for security reasons.
Yes, he said that, yes.
But you're joking. For that man to come and tell Dominicans the truth, Matt, check the man's speech pattern, and you can see he's like a man in the dark, groping for some form of direction, because he does not know where he's north, south, east, and west, so he's just groping. They're making joke of a blind man, but that is not a blind man. That's a man in a dark room, and he's really trying to find his way. And Matt, instead, he just sit down and say, help! Vince, help me. Don't call on Blackmore. Blackmore is a waste of time. Or any intelligent person. Dr. Simeon Joseph, help me. Or some expert in governance and in maybe a priest. I need to confess. Matt, what Skerrit is doing to the country, people think it is going to impact people. So what he's doing, Matt, is creating a false sense of hope. Things are going to change, and he have done that over and over and over. Matt, how can people not learn based on a behavioral pattern and a split personality in his insanity, tricking a whole country? Or could it be we're just so afraid of Skerrit, Matt, the Nazis, the Astafans, and every big person in Dominica, even the passport wheelers and dealers. None and everybody is afraid of Skerrit because they check in. He is unpredictable. He has some tantrums, Matt. You know that, Matt. True pull, bullshit, go to hell, or you afraid it, or you ask. No law, no constitution. So they're scared because they check in. Maybe he might send Navy SEALs and snipers behind them too, Matt. Thank you.
Now, somebody's reminding me, if I remember, July 19th, 2023, when the England placed the restrictions on Dominica, and Mr. Skerrit said, it's just for a few months. A few months have passed, and the visas have not been reinstated to Dominicans. And we still cannot go to England without a visa. So when, if you're so optimistic about the American giving back the visas to Dominicans, what's the latest on the issuance of visas to England? Something is not right. Yeah, somebody says, Matt, maybe he was in a different room. Something seemed wrong there. Good morning, good morning. Hello.
Matt, good morning.
Morning to you, morning.
So it took 7,300 and approximately 5 days to destroy the global security architecture of the US and Europe. And you think it's going to take 180 days to repair it and things will come back nice and dandy? Boy, I don't know. I don't think we understand what kind of creature we're dealing with still, because people still there saying, give this government a chance to come clean. That government knows nothing about cleanliness. Watch the mess we're living in with garbage. Watch the mess that's going on with malgovernance. Watch the mess that's going on with our finances, with our economy. Watch the mess that's going on with all the misappropriation of monies and the ill-gotten gains. My brother, there's a consistent pattern and people still have hope. I don't know what kind of people we are, or the people that still saying they have some kind of hope. Anyway, good morning to you.
Good morning
Happy
again.
hump day.
Happy great day to you too, my brother. Good day to you.
In the conversation, there was a specific point. They didn't raise any other issue with the CBI program. The specific point the United States raised was that our Dominica's program does not have a residency component. It did not say it lacked transparency. It did not say it lacked due diligence. They said that we do not have a residency. So we're addressing this matter with the United States. And of course, in the conversation, other things will come up. It is left to the United States to tell me if there are other issues which they have. It is not for me to create in the public domain because I'm not aware of any other issue that we have in the United States or any issue for that matter. So in the conversation that we'll be having, if there are points that they raise with us, we are open to engaging the United States and working with them towards addressing whatever issues they may have with us, so that the issue of the visa suspension can be set aside, and then we will have no real impediment towards applying for visas of any kind to go to the United States. Mark you, all of us who currently have visas, we can travel to the United States. There's no restriction on that. That continues to be in place. And so we'll continue to engage, and I am very confident that we will find a resolution on this matter with the United States, and that they will set aside the suspension.
No, we heard that about England, the UK, right? They would set aside the suspension. No. You still need a visa to go to the UK, right? And Prime Minister, you were in the same room, I suspect, with Dickon Mitchell, who says the Russian matter was on the table. Maybe, as I said, you were in a different room or a different time. But I just indicated to you that the Prime Minister of Grenada said the Russian issue was on the table for OECS countries. So are you keeping that away from us? And you just indicated, there are other issues that might come up. So when they spoke to you guys, Russian issues never came up. As I said, you may have been in a different room, Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister of Grenada is saying that yes, it came up, the Russian issue. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes, but for now, just come, just be transparent to the people of Dominica. On the telephone, yes, good morning to you.
Just a quick question. Matt, these things are not written documents, Matt, the requirements.
I'm sure they are, but we have not seen them.
So that's what I am saying. If you want to speak the truth, is that Matt, come and read an official document pertaining to do with the requirements, suggestions, or ultimatums, or whatever the case may be. So he comes there, Matt, knowing he's going to duck, avoid, and try to evade the truth, Matt. Matt, the man just lying.
But he did say in that conversation, you just heard that other issues may come up. Other issues may come up. He said that.
Oh, so he's preparing us for the issues that are already required. So then guess what?
Something is wrong with your telephone. Hello, 449-3095-96 and 97. Are you there? Did you hear it? Because as I said, the Prime Minister of Grenada is saying something completely different. As Martin Luther King said one time, the time is always right to do what is right. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, Matt, good morning.
Morning to you, sir. Morning.
Matt.
Yes,
Matt,
yeah.
I do not take anything Roosevelt say with a pinch of salt or a pound of salt, because I know everything Roosevelt says is a lie. Okay? He needs to understand he's a Gemini and I am one too. And I know how he acts and how he has to stop it.
Something is totally wrong with the telephones here this morning. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes, good morning.
Matt.
Yes, sir.
Morning.
Morning.
Matt, let's carry the tired fool us with such malpatai and we just drinking it. When we will stop drinking that nonsense? When we going to stop drinking stupidness? Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Again, the numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. As I said, hello, talk to me on the telephone. Are you there?
Yes, Matt, I'm there. I was switched off the phone the last time. Matt,
sorry.
Roosevelt need to understand. Right now, he's grabbing at straws. He's a drowning man grabbing at straws because he is going to get a 20-1 in the next election like St. Vincent. Good morning.
All right. Thank you again. I just wanted to keep listening to the Prime Minister, who seemed very optimistic that things will change.
There was a specific point. They didn't raise any other issue in the CBI program. The specific point the United States raised was that our Dominica's program doesn't have a residency component. It did not say it lacked transparency. It did not say it lacked due diligence. They said that we do not have a residency. So we're addressing this matter with the United States. And of course, in the conversation, other things will come up. It is left to the United States to tell me if there are other issues which they have. It is not for me to speculate in the public domain because I'm not aware of any other issue that we have in the United States or any issue for that matter. So in the conversation that we'll be having, if there are points that they raise with us, we are open to engaging the United States and working with them towards addressing whatever issues they may have with us, so that the issue of the visa suspension can be set aside, and then we will have no real impediment towards applying for visas of any kind to go to the United States. Mark you, all of us who currently have visas, we can travel to the United States. There's no restriction on that. That continues to be in place. And so we'll continue to engage, and I am very confident that we will find a resolution on this matter with the United States and that they will set aside the suspension.
Let me share some of the conversation there with the Prime Minister of Grenada on the matter.
Prime Minister, thank you for making the time to talk to me about Grenada's regional and international foreign policy. We'll also take a look at what's happening in the Ministry of Infrastructure, which is the ministry you have responsibility for, and some other national issues. So thanks for the time. The big question that I want to open this interview is has Grenada signed on to any memorandum of understanding regarding the acceptance of third-party deportees?
No, Grenada has not yet signed on to any such MOU. And if we get to that point, obviously we will publicly indicate that to the public. I should say, going back as much as a year now, there was a request by the US to consider agreeing to such a document. We 1 year ago declined. Those requests have been repeated. We've engaged in extensive back and forth over what that means. And the form of MOU that has been, in a sense, considered is a non-binding MOU to take what is called third country nationals, meaning they're not nationals of the United States and they're not nationals of Grenada. If or when requested by the United States and if agreed to by Grenada.
So at some point, we see that a number of countries in the Caribbean, they have voted and agreed to do so. This back and forth that is going on, under what conditions is Grenada willing to enter into such an agreement?
Well, I think, let me put it this way. From where I sit in Grenada, we see this as a potential opportunity. We have some significant labor constraints in Grenada. We have labor shortage in the construction industry. We have labor shortage, it's chronic in agriculture and to some extent in the hospitality sector. So we view this as a potential opportunity for us to see whether there's an opportunity for us to, if we're going to accept primarily persons who are workers, persons of working age. So some of the conditions would be, you'd probably have to be between 18 and I would say 50. You would have to have no serious criminal infraction. And I'm ignoring here for the time being violation of American immigration laws, because I suspect a lot of the persons who are there probably have just done nothing other than either stayed in America too long or entered other than through legal means. And that, as much as possible, we want to target persons who have the capacity to work and perhaps have the skill set that we shortage in. The other condition is obviously for the cost of the transfers, relocation, etc. We certainly want to ensure that the US underwrites the costs associated with that. So I would say those are some of the broad parameters within which, if we get into detailed discussions on this, we want to have agreement on.
How has the US been responding to those asks, those conditions?
Well, I think, so it's been a two-step process. When we reached out to indicate that we were interested in exploring the possibility of getting workers under the third country nationals transfer program, we sort of put up those conditions, and they indicated that what they wanted first was a basic, because at this point in time, there's no agreement. What they wanted was a basic MOU that said, okay, we are prepared to look at this framework. So that is the document that's under consideration, and that's the kind of document I think most of the countries have signed, which is a basic MOU that says, if there's a ask from America, are you interested or prepared to consider? And certainly Grenada's MOU, and I think most of the others have seen, have a clause that says you could refuse. That would be the end of the matter. So I think what they've said is the detailed operative conditions they wish to negotiate in a separate actual agreement, because then you would actually be entering to some extent the legal obligations there. Because if you say you are going to take 10 people, for example, and these are the conditions, then obviously you'd have to fulfill them, they'd have to fulfill it. So the sort of detailed ask, they've asked that it be handled by a separate agreement, and you'd see within the context of the OECS what we've agreed to, even for countries that have not yet signed the MOU, including Grenada, is that we would put together, to save time, effort, energy, to make sure there's consistency in the approach, we put together a team within the OECS that will then negotiate with the US on this matter if it gets to them.
You say that would be the end of it, refusal.
Yes, what I'm saying.
Leave that, Prime Minister.
Yes, because I'm saying the US can't force you to take citizens of another country into your country. They can certainly attempt to pressure you, but at the end of the day, the decision as to whether you do or not will be a decision for the country. So it's not a question of whether I believe it's the end of the matter. I'm saying it's a question of what where one obligation begins and ends. And I think people have to understand, even if you're pressured to do something and you choose to do it, you're still volunteering to do it. So if you don't wish to, you are free to say you don't wish to do it. So, and I think that's why, in a sense, you probably have a non-binding MOU. And then if you find terms and conditions that you agree on, then you move into a legally binding MOU. Because as it stands now, no country can force another country to take persons who are not citizens of that country. And that's why it's important, for example, if it's a Grenadian, there's no question, there's nothing to discuss or talk about. The established protocols where if the US was transferring Grenadians from the US for whatever reason, we'd be obligated to take them. Similarly, if we were transferring Americans from Grenada, America would be obligated to take them. But outside of that, there is no binding obligation on either state to take citizens from other countries.
But when there is no binding agreement, you talked about pressure, and as we've seen for the last year, that applying pressure and duress on other nations is not something that the current administration in Washington is shy about doing.
Yes.
Grenada is a vulnerable country. We depend a lot on larger international nations for a lot of things. Visas, travel, our economy, tourism. How do we say no to a country that can choke us off economically?
Yeah, I would answer the question this way. A lot of what we call choking off economically is really the pursuit of materialism, but oftentimes it's just not sustainable in any way. So I think we have to balance between the normal rigors of geopolitics, international relations, which always fluctuates. Right? I'll give an example. In the 80s, in the 70s, there was something called the Cold War, where vying two big rivals were always quoting and vying other countries to line up in support of them, one way or the other. Coming out of that, you had the non-aligned movement, where smaller countries said, look, this is not our fight. We are just simply trying to get by and take care of our citizens, etc. And to a large extent, small countries will always find themselves in that bind, whether it's the USSR, whether it's the USA, whether it's China, whether it's some of the emerging power, India, whether it's emerging regional powers in the Middle East, whether it's Israel. That's the nature of geopolitics, that's the nature of foreign relations. Countries are always going to ask you to support. Each country is going to have to decide when, where, and how it supports or doesn't support, what it accommodates and what it doesn't accommodate. So this is routine. It is not the first time the US has pursued what I would call an aggressive America First policy in its history. Most of what people are talking about are doctrines that existed long before in the context of American geopolitics. And if you look at the history of the US, if you look at, for example, the creation of the Panama Canal, how Panama was created, if you look at the whole Spanish-American War, all of those things, this is just normal. So I'm saying if you are leading a small country, it is part of your foreign policy to understand that you will always have to navigate the difficulties of being the less powerful, the less wealthy. But that's not a reason for not negotiating. In fact, the only thing you could do is negotiate. If the world was going to be ruled purely by might and purely by military strength, then small countries wouldn't exist. So the truth is, as human beings evolve, as geopolitical relations evolve, as foreign relations evolve, you always have these ebb and flows. And as a small country, your job and the leader is to seek solidarity where you can find it, seek partnership where you can find it. If something becomes non-negotiable, you indicate it's non-negotiable. There'll be consequences, but you stand the consequences. So
those consequences could be, Prime Minister, for saying no to the United States, that our CBI program comes under even greater pressure and they will be even forced to close up shop.
Well, I don't agree with that. I think, first of all, there seems to be a complete misunderstanding that these international investment programs are dependent on visa. They're not. Right? At the end of the day, we have to understand this is called investment migration. And the reality is, for all kinds of reasons, including geopolitics, including wars, including political instability, people who work hard and who manage to do well for themselves and their family are always looking for options to protect that. And migration and capital migration is just a normal and a natural part of this. So the reality is this market wouldn't exist if there weren't these structural flaws in the world. Sometimes by virtue of the accident of your birth, if you're South African, for example, because of the apartheid policy that was pursued by previous white supremacist racist South African governments. Many people, many countries simply wanted to have nothing to do with South Africa. And as a result, you would find, therefore, that persons who were South African would be subject to significant visa restrictions, etc., etc. So as a result, even today, as a South African, it is very difficult to travel. And it's probably even compounded if you're a black South African. And so you would find that someone who lives in South Africa, who's worked well, who has a family, who, because of the history of the country, may very well say, I'm prepared to adopt citizenship in another country if I can make an investment there in accordance with their laws, so that I have the assurance that if there was any challenges with South Africa again, or with the ability for me to move freely, that I'm prepared to do so. So I don't think this is, I think domestically oftentimes, we unfortunately see ourselves the worst, and so it's quite easy to immediately think the only reason this is surviving is because of visas. There are lots of other countries that people require a visa to go to the US right now with a Grenadian passport. Right, so the reality is that isn't going to change.
But both Washington and Europe have been putting conditions and pressure on the CDI program, asking that changes be made, that the situation be tightened. There has been growing pressure,
but I don't. So I don't want to know. Let me answer that. First of all, I think the premise of that is wrong. I don't agree with that. And I can speak from my own experience in the 3.5 years. The only time that a specific issue was raised in the context of Grenada, when I got into office, the Americans approached and indicated that we were processing Russian applicants, that in light of the sanctions that they imposed on Russia, they were of the view and asked if this we would consider stopping, because they felt it essentially was an opportunity for Russian citizens, nationals, to bypass the sanctions regime and give them access to the international financial market. At the time, Grenada had initially, with other countries in the OECS, agreed to stop. Unknown to the Grenadian public, the NNP administration secretly and quietly walked away from that and began processing Russian applicants. We agreed. I said to them, well, I was not aware of that. We needed time to investigate the matter. And obviously, we're dealing with an industry. We would need time to wind this. We agreed to do so, and we stopped processing by, I think, the end of February the following year. And we agreed, the OECS countries, with the Americans, with 6 basic principles by which we will guide and conduct our CBI program. Those principles were largely based on what Grenada was doing. GRCC, ensuring the FIU vets. If the FIU or the GRCC knows that's the end of the matter. Ensuring you have international due diligence, sharing denials with our colleagues, etc. Those are all things, these were not proposals by the Americans. These were all proposals which we agreed to. We invited them to say, come in, we have nothing to hide. Go speak to the bank. Go speak to the practitioners, right? We said the same thing to the Europeans. We said the same thing to the United Kingdom. So a lot of the times people just assume that because your international partner is the US, or it's the UK, or it's Canada, or it's Europeans, because they're bigger, that's someone they pressure you. Well, it doesn't matter. You see big countries pressuring each other all the time. That's the nature of international relations. If I want something from you, I ask. You can say yes, you can say no. You can have conditions to your yes, you can have conditions to your no. You negotiate. The reality is, yes, if you're a big, powerful country, you could invade Grenada. You could put pressure on Grenada. But I've made the point. There are 172 international countries plus, independent countries plus. Most of them are small, are developing countries, right? And the reality is you have to continue to be able to function in the international arena, grow your economy, look after your people. That's normal and natural. There are times when you and a partner may have a tense discussion or disagreement about some things. The partnership doesn't come to an end. And people have to understand it. And in small states, our approach is we are friends with all countries. We simply don't have an army. We can't afford to keep enemies. There's no army to defend Grenada. We don't have one. So it's important for us to not get emotional simply because a particular country may pursue a policy that we think is unfriendly or hurtful or harmful to us. It's a policy. It doesn't change the relationship. Our job will then be to go back to say, this is why we don't think this policy should be pursued. This is what I think it will do to us. But if at the end of the day, you insist, that's it. Every country has a right to vote for themselves. And I presume that America, the UK, Canada seeks to act in the best interest of America, UK, and Canada. My job is to seek to act in the best interest of Grenada. And I think all regional leaders, their job is to seek to act in the best interest of their countries. in the region.
All right, we're going to take it out there. Of course, we had a conversation with Deacon Mitchell of Grenada. You can start taking your phone calls at this time. And then some, sort of part of the conversation, I was hearing a lot of we, speaking for Grenada there, Deacon Mitchell. In contrast, we hear a lot of I. Would you agree? Somebody say maybe Skerrit was in the interrogation room when the Russian talk came up. Somebody says we are falling for the Roosevelt Skerrit strategy to distract us from the poor management of the economy and violating the rule of law. Selling passports to people and changing these Chinese names or Muslim names overnight is a major issue for Europe, England, and the USA. Let this US and Europe deal with Skerrit and his labor CBI agents and fraudsters. Let us focus on his mismanagement of the economy and violating the rule of law and our money and our country. This is what somebody's saying here. 449 3095 96 and 97. Yes? Let's go back to the telephone. Are you there? Yes.
Yes, Mr. Pelter.
Yes, sir.
I'm not educated in certain things, but I'm more in the Bible within. And the only thing I can speak is God give me wisdom. But I watch I is a small word, but it's very big. And because if they really say I, that means that is a thing of pride. You have pride coming in because I, and I, say me, I, and myself. Now we say we. We means everybody together. That's different thing. But what I understand, when people say we, the people, and we, sometimes the people serve, the nation serve does not even be involved more than more particular set of people that are making negotiating and doing what they're doing. So I find it very funny that every time people say we, as is the whole of Dominica that agree to certain things, when we do not know and they didn't give us opportunity to participate. So these two little words, two, one have two, one have one. These words are very, if it's we, get the people involved and let them know, well, that is going to happen, this is going to happen. When it happens, let the nation know what happened. That I know, that means you hold it for yourself, nobody not involved. It's I. So that's what I want to say. Thank you very much.
We're taking a quick break and we'll come back. Dominica, this is a Wednesday morning.
I ask you, what are you doing inside Bloomberg? Do you have a farm? You tell me, Gus out has sort. I've been married 37 years. Look at my money farm. They say, no, not woman, like land for farming crops. And then you understand, Bloomberg is the most affordable on island. Knapsacks starting at only $57.71. Elsewhere, it's $300 plus. Cutlass seeds, seeding trays, nursery pots, sales of potting mix, all at way better prices than anywhere else. Fertilizers, 3-in-1 multi-tool, and so much more. Located on Federation Drive, Goodwill. Second property on the right after the Valley Link Road and on the corner of Drury Lane and Hanover Street in Rosal. Bloombox. Let's bloom together.
Hardware and home improvement, building supplies for you, kitchen appliances, even home decor too. Lumber, lawn, all your garden supplies, plumbing, welding, electrical supplies.
Visit Do It Center at the former J. Nassif Hardware location on Goodwill Road. Call us at 255-6890. Do it Center.
Need one trusted place to stock up for your home, shop, or business? Fine Foods Inc. Distribution has got you covered. From dry goods and frozen foods to your favorite drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, plus all the household must-haves. We've got it all under one roof. We're right here in Jimmy Dominica, and yet we deliver. Whether you're running a supermarket, a corner shop, a bar, or just like your pantry full and happy, Fine Foods Inc. brings you the best brands you know and love. Great prices, top tier service, trusted products. At 255-6810 or 316-0164, or drop by our Jimmy location to check out what's in store. Fine Foods Inc.
Fine Foods Inc., the biggest distributor for the biggest brand.
We, the independent elected members of Parliament, Honorable Anthony Samoro Charles and Honorable Chesma Paul Victor, hereby inform the people of Dominica of our decision concerning the appointment of Honorable Chesma.
We're taking more of your phone calls at this time. Somebody says here on Facebook, these people will never tell us the truth. They know what they're getting from Trump. They will never tell it to us. It's all about money, money, money. And like people stupid, a corrupt government, all come out corrupt governments of the Caribbean, all of them the same. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Matt, what Lennox used to do is dissect speeches. Like you say something, and he play it for a few seconds, and then he stop it, and he say, "Did you hear that?" And you know, you have to dissect Skerritt's speech. And I'm glad you took note of the brother from Grenada. We, Skerritt is I and I. Rastafari cannot use I and I like Skerritt. Matt, do you know that? You know Rastafari doesn't use much I and I like Skerritt again. Skerritt take over with Matt. I and I and I. So I am just saying, my brother, what the brother is doing, Matt. He cannot articulate his position because he's all.
Bless, what's going on with your phone? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the phone. Again, somebody has been asking for the overseas number. Again, take it down slowly. It's 305-432-9624. 305-432-9624. I hope you get it now. 305-432-9624. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
There was a specific point. They didn't raise any other issue in the CBI program. The specific point the United States raised was that our Dominica's program doesn't have a residency component. It did not say it lacked transparency. It did not say it lacked due diligence. They said that we do not have a residency. So we're addressing this matter with the United States. And of course, in the conversation, other things will come up. It is left to the United States to tell me if there are other issues which they have. It is not for me to speculate in the public domain because I'm not aware of any other issue that we have in the United States or any issue for that matter. So in the conversation that we'll be having, if there are points that they raise with us, we are open to engaging the United States and working with them towards addressing whatever issues they may have with us so that the issue of the visa suspension can be set aside. And then we will have no real impediment towards applying for visas of any kind. to go to the United States. Mark you, all of us who currently have visas, we can travel to the United States. There's no restriction on that. That continues to be in place. And so we'll continue to engage, and I am very confident that we will find a resolution on this matter with the United States, and that they will set aside the suspension.
All right, somebody been trying to get me there. Good morning to you. On the telephone, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay.
I'm there.
Yes, tell me your concerns.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, good morning, Matt. How are you doing? How is Dominica?
Well, it's raining right now, but Dominic is cool for now.
Yeah, we have 8 degrees in New Jersey right now. It's cold up here.
Wow.
Very cold. But Matt, I've been looking at the development in Dominica,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a phone call last from someone who I don't want to mention their name right now, but they worked in Dominica back in the maybe 70s, 80s,
Mm-hmm.
when they discovered that there were copper in the Daywash era. And the reports were sent into the Dominica. It's there. So they know that there's traces of copper in the Daywash era. So why is the Prime Minister, Mr. Roosevelt Skerrit, lying with a straight face to the Dominican people and telling them they're looking for rocks? Matt, it's a blatant lie. Everything this man says is a lie. He's lying to the people with a straight face. So now, when you lie to the people, how you expect we gonna believe anything you say? Like you was telling us this morning that the U.S. is not concerned about anything else but residency.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie. That is a lie. Everything Skerrit says, and I hope he's listening, he's lying to the Dominican people. My question is, when is the Dominican people going to realize that this man is a liar? He's a traitor. He's just trying to save his skin. Everything he's a lie. He's by time because he knows he's trying to fool the Dominican people. But just tell Mr. Roosevelt Skerrit that we are listening or we are watching because we know just as much and more than what he knows. So he cannot lie to the public because we are Dominicans. We're looking. You know what I'm saying? You cannot expect to lie to a nation as a leader. And how are you going to gain any respect from people lying to the people? Do you know my uncle, which was Alfred Henry,
Mm-hmm.
when during the time when Skerrit was a young boy, they voted for him to be the leader. I tell you right now, my uncle is dead, but I'm sure he's still in his grave to see what this man turned out to be. It's an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment. And I'm telling you, he needs to stop. He needs to step down. He's done more than his share. He needs to just say, guys, I'm going to resign. I think he better resign and save himself the embarrassment he's going to get in the future. Because the problem is the U.S., Dominican people are not happy with him. I mean, he has a chance to just let me step down, step out from this whole situation because he's not going to win. He's going to lose. And the what they did to the West. See, when I came down and I spoke, they started to say they're going to build an airport in Wesley, and the way they start doing it, the whole way they start doing it was wrong. They destroyed Wesley. They destroyed parts of Whitford Hill. They destroyed Marigot going up to Daywash. And if we don't stop this whole madness, the whole of Dominica is going to get affected by what's going on in Dominica right now. Because this government and the leader has no respect for Dominica. They don't care about the country. And it's going to just mess if we don't stop it right now. And we stop. People need to stop talking and act. Because if we don't, like Nasio is trying to disrupt someone from going in that area and work right now. This whole thing should stop. This is madness. And that's what I have to say as a Dominican. You know, I do not like people to lie to me. When you lie to me one time, you fool me once, you fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not believing anything you tell me. So right now, I want to make all Dominicans know that the Prime Minister is lying to you. Everything is. Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you. Right, our brother there in New Jersey expressing himself there. Read what was heard this morning from the Prime Minister.
Oh gosh, lion in a sheepskin and wolves in sheep's clothing. Think about the wolf. Think you want to think about the wolf. Playing like you think about the wolf. Don't you know? Think about the wolf. You think you want to think about the wolf. Playing like a big bad wolf. But I'm the wolf gotcha. Don't you know I'm the zookeeper? Flash, are you running up your mouth all over town? Claiming to be the toughest fool in the town. Chatty mouth, why you think too bad? I'm the worst nightmare that you ever had. No drama, jealousy I fly so high. And we wanna touch the sky. Who are you to judge me? Back are you a bad boy, you can't bite me. So you think you want to think about a wolf? Playing like a big bad wolf. Well, I'm the wolf gotcha. Don't you know I'm the zookeeper? Think about the wolf. Think you want to think about the wolf? Playing like the big bad wolf. But I'm the wolf gotcha. Don't you know I'm the zookeeper? Enemies and friends alike. One from another, but you can't divide. Come in your house and then meet up your burden. And when they're done, they wanna chop off your head. That's what they'll do, yeah. That's what they'll do. Jealousy I fly so high. And we wanna touch the sky. Who are you to judge me? Back are you a bad, but you can't bite me. So think about the wolf. You think you want to think about the wolf. Playing like a big bad wolf. Well, I'm the gotcha. Don't you know?
Hello, yes, good morning. Good morning. Are you there?
Hello,
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
you hearing me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. It sounds like Clarence Christian. Yes.
Yeah. If you hear anything, because I'm speaking directly to the radio on my phone.
Okay, go
Because
ahead.
I'm driving.
All right.
I heard the last caller from New Jersey, and it is very sad that people without any information can just speak to what they hear without any evidence, no empirical evidence, nothing at all. Just speak. Let me tell the caller, Matt, there is no copper mining taking place at Debush or in Dominica, anywhere. No copper mining. Matt, the reason why Debush is selected is because the delay of Crapo Hall place, the injunction placed on Crapo Hall, that is why they had to go to Debush. And allow me to speak about that is why they had to go to Debush. Mass tests were done on all the quarries on the West Coast. They found that the stones on the West Coast do not have the density to put on the runway. Because, Matt, you're building a 10,000 foot runway, you're going to getting. This is, okay, I'm not an engineer. Let me tell people I'm not an engineer, I'm an accountant, and a very good one at that. I'm an accountant, trained accountant, both American and British professional qualifications with a master's degree and a bachelor's degree. So I am not an engineer.
but you are among engineers and you hear it, what is being said, and then you can decipher for yourself. Not the reason why you go to Debwash. Because it was found that Debwash has the density, the wash fare. Let me put it in part of people. The wash fare that they're looking for, they want to put on the runway. Okay? That is what they're looking for. And that is the place they can get the wash fare. Because you do not want to use the softer stone on the West Coast when a F380 or a 747 or whatever 777 land on there with the velocity and things, so it crush the stone and then you have an accident sometime, create a hole on the runway. So you want the stones to be able to withstand the weight of the plane when it lands. That is what I'm hearing. I said I'm not an engineer. That is what I'm hearing. So T-Wash, they're looking for the wash fare.
But I'm interested that you may be saying that. Of course, you admitted you're not an engineer and we're having a discussion. I'm hearing from the geologists, people who know better, people who understand rocks. And we had a professor there from Jamaica. I've been a university lecturer for over 30 years in Jamaica. He's saying that the rocks from Debwash is not as strong as what we have in the Quapo Hall area. So you're saying something different. So who are the experts? I'm asking now at this time because we're comparing notes, Clarence. Who are you presenting as the experts when somebody else is saying something completely different? Are you there, Clarence? Talk to me.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
I do not know about the experts that you're talking about. But I know the Chinese and they so have their own lab where they do their testing. And you cannot tell me the Chinese are not qualified.
I'm not saying they're not qualified, but we basically, because you have to compare notes. Tell me what the qualifications of the Chinese are compared to the geologists who have been studying rocks for close to 40 years. Let's just compare notes. Let's see what the Chinese have to say, and let's hear what the other experts have to say, Clara.
But the local geologists have not done any testing on our...
Clarence, I'm talking about the geologist from Jamaica who came in, who's a UE expert there. So you're saying that the Chinese may have more knowledge about our terrain than the Chinese do?
No, the Chinese do their test. They do their testing. They test what they have a lab tested everything that is going into the airport. Not what they're looking for, and I tell you, there is a quantity of wash fare.
I cannot dispute what you're saying, but Clarence, where are these reports showing that Debwash rocks are denser than the West Coast, Clarence? We need to have that information. Where are the reports that say that Debwash rocks are, have a better density than the rocks we're using there in Quapo Hall? I'm asking just for clarity, for transparency. You there? Well, can we, Dominica, see what's there, what the Chinese have produced, and compared to what we're hearing from other geologists and soil scientists?
Listen to me. You always think.
I'm not saying, Clarence, I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm saying let us see the report so we can compare notes. The other geologists, the other soil scientists are saying something different than what you're saying. You have admitted that you're not an expert, Clarence. I'm saying let the people who are asking questions see the other geologists so we can compare notes and we can go forward, Clarence. That will be very easy. Wouldn't you agree?
First of all, you're making a serious error saying that there is copper mining.
No, we're not talking about, forget the copper mining issue. We're talking about the density of the rocks that was brought up there by your experts. The Prime Minister says he's experts, meaning the people on the ground are experts. So the other people are not experts. So I'm just saying let's compare notes, Clarence. I'm not disputing what you have to say about Wash Fayon. I'm saying bring the notes forward and let us compare and let's move forward from that discussion. Compare notes and let the best decision win. That's what I'm saying.
But let me tell you something. I said something. I don't want to repeat it on your radio, right? But that is an effort to delay the construction of the international airport. If the callers really wanted the construction of the international airport, there is a simple solution. Ask Edison James to try and convince him to remove the injunction or the partial injunction.
So you're saying if the injunction does not say that they stop the mining of rocks up there, or the exploration of rocks in that area close to Edison James. They're saying that you have to work from maybe 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and you can continue to of course explore those rocks. Did the court report say stop it? Did the court report that you're referring to, did they tell you stop Quapo Hall? Did they tell you stop Quapo Hall?
The case has not completed, but they curtailed the operation of the quarry and the crusher. They curtailed it from 6 to 7.
But you were using the rocks there from Quapo Hall. All of a sudden there you say you want to go to Debouche, and you find out all of a sudden, Clarence, that the rocks in Quapo Hall or the rocks in Debouche is stronger. It's very, very strange. It's stronger than that of Quapo Hall. When did you decide to go to Debouche? When?
Matt, listen to me. You question me, you don't question other people when they talk. But listen to me. Matt, when they were building Melvin Hall Airport, that is where they took the stones from, in the very same area. When Miss Charles was resurfacing Melvin Hall Airport, that is the very same area in Debouche where they took the stones from. So there has been a history of quarrying in the area. There has been a history of quarrying in the area. You can ask Leonard Church, or he's a historian in Dominica. I'm not a historian. You can ask him. There has been a history. When Sintra was building the Northeast Road, that is the area, because the density of the stones there. But this is all we're asking. The density of the stones there is much harder than those on the West Coast. If not, if you can't get the stones from there, you have to get the stones in St. Vincent or bring it in from Canada.
But the experts, the overseas experts that we have, who's actually testing the rocks as we speak, are saying that this is not the case. That when we try to explore, this is not the case. The other rocks in the area, Quapo Hall, may be better to use. So why do you insist that you want to go to Debouche to explore the rocks there? You're saying that it's wash fair, so you can't find us wash fair anywhere else?
Where can you find wash fair in Dominica?
I'm asking you, Clarence, can you find it anywhere else?
Right. Not the fact of the matter. You want to stop the delay or stop.
Who's the we that want to stop, Clarence? When I speak to the experts there on the ground, that the scientists, there's no discussion about stopping the airport, Clarence. They're saying that let's bring the facts forward, and maybe there are alternatives. I'm not hearing any of the experts you're talking about saying they want to stop the airport. So I don't know if this argument is making any sense.
That is a fact, man, because they try to, bring that thing out. All those people now is when they see doing the thing, when they see the work on the international airport. Because all along, the very same people, I used to be up there one time, I see a set of them, the Wednesday workers were up there asking to stop the airport. I see Matty and all of them stop in Wesley. Today you see in the airport that's taking shape. When I told you a plane can land there, you told me no. People laughed at me. When you see the runway has taken shape, everything has taken shape and moving nicely for completion in October 2027. Commissioning. All that is required is the quality of the stones to put on the foundation before you put the asphalt on it, on the runway. That is what is required. And you need about 400 to 450,000 cubic meters of stones. That is it. And I said, I'm not an engineer, but you're hearing things when you are working among people. Right?
Clarence, I'm just saying that provide the evidence that these Chinese are experts, and we can move forward. Having compare notes with the other geologists, the other soil scientists, and we can move forward. Okay, so Clarence, that's basically we're going to over and over. I'm not the expert. You're not the expert. I think you're speaking for the Chinese. You said the Chinese are the experts because the Prime Minister said in a recent news conference that he has his local experts. So who are these local experts that he has there that are saying we should use the rocks from Deboche? Who are these local experts? He has gone. I'm saying. I think Mr. Jerry Brisbane, who's been doing some work there in the area, is on the telephone with me. Jerry, you've heard Clarence Christian. What's your take on what you're hearing?
Morning.
Morning to you. Morning.
Yeah, I'm happy I heard my friend Clarence this morning.
Yes.
I didn't meet him on the site when on Tuesday they had their group meeting and stuff. And we had a nice conversation. I mean, Clarence and I go way back when I was on the radio. I'm sure you remember him coming and bashing me and discussing me in many ways. But I never let that trouble me. I still have a relationship with everyone. And at the site, he said that they were going to take down the mountain and do whatever it is. And I said, well, fine, that's what you all plan to do. But what we plan to do is to try to stop it. But the fact of the matter is this, that and neither am I an expert, but with every campaign I've been involved with, and I'm sure you remember when we were doing the oil refinery campaign, that the approach always is to try to educate. Knowledge is power, as they say. And I remember distinctively, man, that Crazy T at the time, was totally for the oil refinery program. And when we brought in the expert out of England who was working in the oil refinery to educate and inform us, I never forgot that at the end, Crazy T came back, and I give him credit for that. Came back and on his radio said that after hearing the information and knowing what he knows now, he was no longer in favor of the oil refinery. So we are taking a similar approach in what we're doing right now. And we brought in this geologist from Jamaica. We are awaiting his report. It should be with us soon. Unfortunately, as you know, when he came in, it was the holiday season. And, Christmas, everything. The school was closed, so he had to wait for the school to reopen to be able to use the lab to do tests, different things, which he's concluding. What I will say to the public is once that report, unlike what Clarence is saying, once that report is sent to us, it will be made public. Okay, Matt? We have nothing to hide. And in fact, in a meeting which we held not too long ago with the planning division, we actually are also going to make public a copy public or give up a copy to the planning division. It's interesting, Matt, because I got the sense that even the planning division is hungry to get information. It's like there's none available. So if Clarence is saying that they have these reports, all we're asking now, and we've been asking, and being blocked all over the place, is to make these reports available to the public. It's a simple thing. Even the planning division probably, because it appears they may not even have these reports he's talking about. And so once that is done, then the public has information and knowledge that they can make decisions on. He also went on, Matt, to say quickly that, he conflicts himself. First, he said, I think you remember that, that Edison James had this court case and they stopped the quarrying. That's what he said on your program, I remember. Stop. Then he's now come back and they've come back and said, well, it has delayed the operation. And I understand that because it's to stop at 6 o'clock. Well, Matt, we gave them a solution. When I came on your program, we gave them a solution because, again, in the initial assessment of the geologists, and I said initial, Matt, I'm not saying confirmed as yet. Initial assessment, the geologists said to us that the rock at Crapo Hall and at Deboche, there is no difference really in the rock. He went on to say that at the Deboche site, that there's more variable rock there than at Crapo Hall, which makes it even more difficult. Because in mining, Matt, you do not want to have variability in the rocks. You don't want to have different type of rocks being mined. You want the same rock. So what I said in the program that I had with you when I was on was, if it is that Crapo Hall has been delayed, as Clarence has just said again, because he first said, well, if we want, he said that they had to move to Daywash because of the Patrick problem at and he says if Edison James was to lift the, what you call it, the injunction, then that would solve the problem. But the situation is such, Mark, that now he's admitting that it's not, by saying that, he's admitting it's not really the density, he's saying, in a sense. So that's why he's contradicting himself. He's saying it because of the restricted production at Crapo. Well, in my discussion when I was with you, I said there's a simple solution. Take the crushing plant that you have at Daywash and set it up at Crapo Hall. And so even if you still have a restriction up to 6 o'clock, you will double or triple your production there between the time of 7 to 6. So it solves a problem. You get the material that you require. In fact, the geologist even indicated to us he did not understand why they did not even have a crushing plant at the airport site. Because he says in most constructions of that magnitude, there's the crushing plant right on the site. So they can take the rock from Crapo Hall and bring it to the site, okay, and crush it there. There would be no problem with that. But now you're setting up a crusher at Daywash, okay, which is further away from the site. And so it's going to obviously increase the cost and everything else. And Matt, the last thing I want to say too is that the main issue also with this Daywash site is, where are they going to put all that material that they're going to take out of that site? Because, Matt, remember, it's 160 acres, of land. What you see there already done is about 18 acres. What the mountainside you see that they started to clear. It's 160 acres. And the geologist said that they would have to go down over 1,500 feet to get to the material that they're talking about. So, it's a disaster of a magnitude that I think Dominicans and Dominica would never have experienced for long in its past. So I hope that kind of clears up some of the information. And two, again, as soon as the report from the geologist is made available to us, we will have it and we will discuss it and we will share it with everybody.
Mr. Brisbane, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Don't you know?
These experts, the Prime Minister referred to recently, he said, yes, we have our experts. Now, I'm finding out now it's from Clarence that these experts they talk about are the Chinese. Hello, talk to me, yes? Yes?
Yes, man.
Yes, I.
The more I'm listening to Clarence Christian, the more I find this man believes that he alone that have so much sense in his head. Clarence has confirmed to you 460,000 cubic meters of to aggregate is required for that run. Does Clarence Christian have any idea of what that volume means? Does he consider the level of destruction that will be inflicted in that big wash area to mine that volume of stone? You're buying a cubic yard of aggregate by E.H. Charles. A cubic yard, not a cubic meter. A cubic meter is more than a cubic yard, It's not that one rock going to give you a cubic meter of stones, That is why we have to ensure that these people will continue this nonsense they're doing there. Because the level of destruction that is going to be done in that area to get that volume of stone, it will be irreparable. It will be irreparable, And he and the Prime Minister cannot convince anybody in the whole of Dominica where they're quarrying and they're finding stone that is the only area that you can get worship. That cannot be so. That cannot be right, And the more you listen to the people, the more these people are distant from the truth and they figure to themselves that they alone have common sense, they alone have brain, they alone have this. You ask him a simple question. Who are the local experts that the Prime Minister said that they have? He cannot answer you. Why the reports from the Chinese is not a negative? He cannot answer that. He's going back to Edison James and this. You ask him a simple question. So why? Okay, if at Hassan Gardner has that level stone, well, operate within the hours that you can operate. Operate within and continue the order that you can continue still. But don't go and destroy a whole area, destroy river, destroy everything else just for you to satisfy your own foolish and selfish ambition. It is not right. And Clarence Christian must stop talking that nonsense that he's talking there. He's an accountant, stick to accountancy.
All right, caller, stay in your lane. That's your point. Stay in your lane. Let's see. I think I have Mr. Jules back on the telephone. Are you there? Talk to me quickly. Yes.
Yes, Matt. Ask Clarence Christian if they have the evidence that to show the Dominican people whether or not the rocks that they're trying to get out of Daybush is better than the ones at Crapple Hall. It's just a bunch of lies. They're mining copper, and they're going to do 160 acres. It's going to devastate Dominica. If Dominicans don't come out and stop this, we live to regret this, and now and in the future. Mr. Skerritt has to, whatever agreement he made with the Chinese, he has to bridge it right now. We cannot continue to mine Daybush. This is not going to happen. Not under our watch. Skerritt is not the owner of Dominica. We are the owners of Dominica. And we say as a people that we do not want this to continue. This has to stop. Because they're lying to the Dominican people. And some of the labor rights are believing the lies. But there's no stones over there that's better than the one, or rocks that's better than the ones they can get at Crap Hole or anywhere else. There's no more density in the rocks at Daybush than anywhere else. They are just a bunch of lies. They made a deal with the Chinese. Who are you going to believe? You're going to believe a Chinese over Dominican who's qualified? Are you going to believe a Chinese, a crook, a Chinese over the geologists from Dominica that the rocks are not more dense than the ones they get in the Crapple Hole? So the Chinese and Skerritt make a deal, and he wants to honor the deal. But this is not going to happen. We are a Dominican people, and we say no. No, this is not going to continue. And it has to stop now. And Mr. Skerritt, I hope you're listening to me. Okay, I'm telling you as a Dominican, this has to stop because you're going to destroy the country. After you're gone, the people of tomorrow is not going to have a country to go to because you're destroying the rivers, you're destroying the natural beauty, and you're destroying communities. And this has to stop. The environment, you're destroying the whole environment to build an airport. What type of development is that? I mean, come on, think about it. You're going to destroy the whole of Wesley, the whole of Marigot, the whole of Concord, the whole of the Carib Reserve to build an airport? Come on. This is madness.
All right, caller. Thank you. As we speak, Nasir is standing. We're still trying to organize a few buses there for persons who are interested in joining Nasir sometime maybe later this week. We already in Wednesday. Last Friday we were able to organize a bus there, so give me a call if you may be interested. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes? Dominique.
Matt, good morning. Thank you.
Morning to you. Morning.
Matt,
yes?
It's just simple common sense to know. You know that saying that says sense is trouble, but common sense is very simple?
Mm-hmm.
I can remember growing up as a little girl. I'm just coming with common sense. I remember growing up as a little girl. When you pass Concord River, that river that comes from the mountain, and you see it dirty, you pass Melvin River, and you see it is dirty, and that sun is burning country, hot Scotch sun, and the main rivers that come from the mountain is dirty. So I always remember my parents say, rain is falling in the mountain. And when I saw that map that Miss Edwards then presented, and they showed that spot where the Chinese are working now in Debrush, that exact spot. Matt, if you look at the spot, and I think that is what people need to know and people need to understand. Matt, if you look at that spot on that map, the Castle Bruce main river is connected. The Marigot Melvin Hall main river, no, not Marigot, Melvin Hall main river is connected there. Layu main river is connected there. That river in Debrush there is connected there. All our main rivers are connected exactly in that spot. Matt, are you going to destroy your whole country? Destroy all your rivers that you have? Yes, some people are saying, oh, what is it? It's just destroying one river for development. Nobody's against development. Nobody's against the airport. All what they're saying that we are against airport. We are not against. Nobody's against development. But are you going to destroy a whole country for an airport? He's talking about when Mr. built airport and when this did that and when Fincher was there, all of them took stone there. But did they went to that depth that they are going now to go to destroy our river? Common sense. Common sense is very simple. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Matt, Clarence Christian come in and put that diversion tactic on the issue at hand. Scary have no use for Clarence Christian. No use for Clarence Christian, you know that. Clarence Christian just trying to put himself into Scary. Scary have no use for those guys again. Those guys are old-time guys for Scary. Okay?
Papa God, after listening to Clarence, I'm more convinced that the government, Prime Minister Skerrit, is lying about the using the stones that they wash. Wash fair, he said. Wash fair. Is it they wash?
Don't you know I'm good to keep up? Slide, while you running up your mouth all over town. Claiming to be the toughest fool in the town. Chatty mouth, why you think you bad? I'm the worst nightmare that you ever had. No drama, jealousy I fly so high.
Hello, we have 5 more minutes, so we'll continue this afternoon. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, Matt. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Matt, Mr. Brisbane said something there that is so pertinent. Huh? Why can't they bring their crusher to the airport area and crush from now till kingdom come and not have to disturb whoever is in the Crapwall area? Why can't they do that? Take the crusher they want to put at the airport, in the Debrush, bring it to the airport site, and take the material in Crapwall and crush it there. But Matt, the other thing is, I haven't seen a scoop from Debrush. I have been around crushers since 1981. And what I know to be wash
fair.
What I know to be black stone. Okay? I never know what in the river area. Right? So I don't know, but
I guess you'll have to do your research on that one. Clarence says the wash fair they need. It's a Debrush. Is the only way they can find it, huh? Let's go.
Matt,
Yes.
I want to take time out and give your peoples with your discussion with Clarence, your follow-up, sticking to what that makes sense and not deviating. Matt, do that every time you go and have an interview. You understand? Do that every time. He stray you away. He brought you back. He go all around the place. He went Africa. He came back. You came back with what that made sense to you. Let us all get the report from the geologist that he has. We want to see it. That is the way you conduct an interview. And I want to say again, Matt, an interview with Imam is a national event. All you taking that for a joke. Every time all you go there with Imam is a laughing matter for all you. It is a national event to have an interview with a prime minister, my brother.
All right, Color, let's go. Let's move on. Then we have a lot of calls. Well, let's present an interview just me and the Prime Minister sometime, okay? You would understand the difference. Hello, talking on the telephone, yes? Good morning.
Yes, yes, Matt. Good morning.
Morning to you, morning, yes.
Good morning. I want to say to the caller who
Yes.
let Roosevelt Skerritt know that Dominica belongs to us, and I agree with him. Dominica belongs to us, and we're going to stop that project. We are not going to allow him to destroy Dominica. But listening to the conversation between you and Clarence, as Clarence said, wash fair. I want to quote him, wash fair. He said the only place in Dominica, the entire Dominica, that wash fair is in Devonsh. But listening to Mr. Brisbane, I understand they would have to mine 160 acres and to go well below 500 feet to get that washway. So where did Clarence get the sample of the washway he tested to determine that Devonsh is the only place that have the washway? When according to Mr. Brisbane, and I believe Mr. Brisbane, they have to go down over 500 feet to get that to that washway. So where Clarence get that washway he tested?
Well, he says the Chinese. He's quoting the Chinese, huh? He says there's a lab, so the Chinese have tested. Are you there, caller? Talk to me. We have about 2 more minutes. Are you there?
Yes, Matt. Good morning.
Good morning to you, yeah.
Yeah, the organizers were organizing the people to get the people down at the bush.
Yes.
I'm in Tuesday. You can give them my number. My number is
go ahead.
My number is 277 9743.
277 9743.
Yes.
You want to? Okay.
You can give me a call.
All right. Thank you. We have your number. Okay. Thank you.
Don't you know? You want to see the bad wood? You're not the big bad wood.
1010. Hello.
But I wanted to revisit a question you posed to what's his name, Clarence, and he evaded the question. Because it was at Quapo Hall they were mining, and it's after the court matter they determined they go into the wash.
Yep.
So at what point they determine it's only they want that have the wash fair. Not need to revisit that question because you asked it to him and he deliberately evaded it or ignored it. So really, Matt, that is so much of a pertinent question. At what point all you determine that is the best place to mine for the rocks, and it's after the matter with Edison James, or you go and take Dave Wash and start desecrating the land. You need to visit that question, Matt. Revisit it.
All of a sudden, eh?
Don't you know?
Because reading initial reports, Dave Wash was never considered at that time, huh?
You can't divide.
Simple common sense question. Hello, talk to me, yes? What point?
Matt,
yes, quickly.
Matt,
yes.
it's the scope and size of that project that is scary. Mr. Ogis did a graphic where he took that what they surveyed and put it over Rosomat. That thing is going to occupy an area bigger than Rosomat. People have to understand that. And as people have said before, this is our watershed. All major rivers in the middle of the island are coming from there. You're going to ruin the water. And if indeed and in fact they put any kind of copper mine in there, you're going to have cyanide coming down all these waterways. This would be a major disaster. But let's just presume they only have to wash fair. It's still going to disrupt all the rivers. You're going to damage our watershed. Enough said, man.
All right, thank you. Words are powerful. Chinese, Clarence said, the reason they wash is used is because of the delay at Quapo Hall. In other words, Quapo Hall is the best choice and debauch is the second. Clarence sounds like a man who got a burst head from a wash fair. Dominic will continue here. At the 1 o'clock hour, we'll continue our discussion for a while, at least for the first hour. This is it for me. Jolie's is next. Hellfire. The wolf catcher Nebuash Nasio. Let's continue to talk at 1 o'clock, huh? Tell you who I am. You know, sticks and stones could break my bones. Things say you're bad. Things say you're bad. So I'm gonna get every revenue. Every revenue. Yes, I'm gonna get. Cause I'm going to keep her. Don't you know I'm going to keep her? Don't you know? Fire! You an easy way to pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
It's in the feeling and how we talk. It's in the meaning and our spot. It's the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. Get rid of all that keeps running back. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things going. Before we will go home. It's up in the sky. Celebrate, come let your rhythm flow.
Include meal Ojaz. Hot Johnny's Pharmacy, the Royal Herb Blend Oil of Ojaz. It's like a miracle in a bottle. Fast acting, healing, soothing, restoring dry, irritated, uncomfortable skin, varicose veins, joint pain relief, lung decongestion, fights inflammation. Use Oil of Ojaz to massage aching, tired muscles. These secret blended herbs has a soothing, mentholated calming effect, reducing anxiety, boosting your vitality and your immunity. Induces deep, rejuvenating sleep. Oil of Ojaz. Bon we met pour la peau chivée, inflammation, épaules, genoux, guapcha. Cultivez wim, sous tapis bless. Spleen, passé boldinance. Oil of Ojaz. Proudly manufactured by Johnny's Pharmacy. Trusted by families all over the world. And available on Amazon.
Ooh.